I'm SD, and tailoring your own clothes is easy because I used to serve pizza for a living, so if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. And these pro tips are gonna put you way ahead of the curve. I think that's long enough of an intro. Let's go. 1. Start with the right shirt. Now, I wear a ton of t-shirts, and I usually get them from places like Target, and I finally found a good spot online where I can get a whole bunch of them. It's jiffyshirts.com, not sponsored. I'm just really excited to share that with you. They are one of those sites that sells a lot of bulk t-shirts that companies can buy. They're the ones that sell those like really crappy Gildan t-shirts that you'll find. You know, those really itchy ones where if you get a t-shirt for free from somewhere, yeah, that's Gildan. But yo, they make some bangers too. There's 2 really good brands that I found on there. One of them is Next Level Apparel, and the other one's gonna be Bella Canvas. They're like $6 or $7 each, and the Bella Canvas ones that I found, it's really cool because they have there's a cotton poly blend that has like a little bit of rayon mixed into it, so it gives it a nice bit of stretch. They've held up in the wash fantastically, so if you are obsessed with t-shirts like I am, oh my gosh, check it out. 2. Write down your measurements and tailor everything in bulk. Now, when it comes to measuring a lot of things, the method that I use is a little bit different from some methods that you might see other places, but it's way more precise once you get it down. A lot of places will tell you to use the pinch method, where you put the shirt on and you kind of pinch the sides and figure out what feels most comfortable to you. That works, yes, but what I kind of notice is once you get up close to your armpits, it's really hard to maneuver your fingers in the right place to get there, and then like it's just really uncomfortable and it's not very accurate and you're not gonna get a good fit. So what I suggest everybody does is you measure both side seams and you put pins evenly on both sides, and you kind of play around with those measurements in the beginning. See what you feel comfortable with. So if you want to take it in the waist by a 1/2 of an inch, and then in the chest you want to take it in 1/4 of an inch, see how you feel about that. Put it on with the pins. The pins won't poke you, I promise. See how you feel about it, and adjust accordingly if you need to. Funny story, so I had a friend of mine come over. He wanted some help tailoring his t-shirts. We'll call him Dave for the sake of this story. And he gets into it. We start showing him my method, all that kind of stuff, and I put the pins in the side, and he's like, whoa, aren't the pins gonna poke you? I don't know if I want to do it that way. This dude's like this really big burly guy who's always talking about kind of how tough he is and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, no, they're not gonna poke you. But yo, you know what you were just talking about in comparison to like being afraid of sewing pins? Are you serious? So I tried the shirt on with the pins in the side. They didn't poke me. It kind of blew his mind a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, it's a process, man. You'll get it down. Now, once I get the right fit that I'm looking for, I'll take those measurements and I'll jot them down in my notes app. That way, I never have to do that process ever again, and it saves so much time moving forward. I can get that same size shirt from the same brand or same company in a different color, or even the same color because I'm kind of boring like that, and I can just put the measurements in there and boom, good to go. But not only that, those measurements are actually a bit interchangeable more than you would realize between different brands. So if I were to put those measurements in a Target t-shirt, well, they kind of transfer over pretty well to an Old Navy t-shirt. I'll end up pinning it up and trying it on just in case, but it's pretty close. 3. Shorten the body of the t-shirt, the sleeves of the t-shirt, and make it tighter if you need to. Those tweaks alone can completely transform how a t-shirt looks on you. Now, especially with baggy sleeves. I despise baggy sleeves on my t-shirt so much. So that's the first thing that I'll end up fixing on, well, let me think here, all of them. And tightening them is pretty simple. All you're doing is pinching on the underside, figuring out what you feel comfortable with, and putting a new straight stitch right there. It takes like 2.5 minutes. And shortening the body of a t-shirt and shortening the sleeve of a t-shirt are the exact same process. It's just one is bigger than the other. You're gonna end up keeping the factory hem on both processes, so you can maintain that elasticity that the factory hem gives your shirt. It's awesome. I get a lot of comments about those tutorials that I made that my measurements are wrong. They're not wrong, they're doubled because you fold it, and so if you do 1 inch or however many millimeters that is, if you do 1 inch and then you fold it, it's gonna be 2 inches. But I'm not a mathematician. I went to school in Minnesota, so there's that too. It's duck, duck, gray duck. Pin them properly. Now, when you're tailoring your t-shirts, do you put the sewing pins, do you put them on the same side of your shirt when you do it? Because if you do, that That's a mistake. I mean, it's not really a mistake per se, it's just a little bit of an inefficient way to go about doing it, because when you end up running it underneath your sewing machine, what's gonna happen is the bulk of the fabric is gonna be off to the side of your machine, not getting in the way of anything, which is fantastic, right? Yeah, that's what you want. But then when you go to do the other side, the bulk of your fabric is all kind of bunched up under your sewing machine. So you're trying to make a nice tapered stitch while also trying to like stop the fabric from getting all bunched up, and it's just super cumbersome. So instead, what you want to do is pin up opposite sides of your shirt. That way you can take advantage of the bulk of your shirt being off of the side of your sewing machine both times. That one I discovered on my own, and I was kind of like, huh, that's actually kind of genius. Nice. That's all I got for you. SD out. See ya.